people that believe in justice and the government, welcome to a brand new video. Today, we're covering a lot of insane situations, including moist critical drama. Oh, and also a little bit about Jeffrey Epstein. So there's been some news about this guy, but mostly moist critical mostly moist critical drama, but a little bit of Epstein on the side. Now, the thing is, there was this entire press briefing that Caroline Leavitt held, the press secretary of Trump, and let's just say she's been cooking. She went out there and the media blasted her straight Epstein drama injected into our veins, all right? I'll be real. So, we have lots to look at, lots to do, and I'm gonna catch you up. So it all starts with this mofo over here. All right, this motherfucker, this piece of asshole, this dude is Jeffrey Epstein. He has run one of the largest sex trafficking operations in the history of the world, as far as we know. Actual disgusting shit. 2-3 years ago, he was locked up, put in prison, and then he allegedly killed himself. All right. There he was, doing his thing, and they found him hanging in his cell. He hanged himself. That's crazy. Now, anyway, no one believes that because, let's be real, bro. You see, the pedophile sex trafficked thousands of children to no one, and then killed himself with 2 bullets to the back of his head, while all 333 video cameras malfunction at the same time. Now, this is obvious layers of bullshit, because the cameras died, the security wasn't around, every single famous person on the planet went to visit this man, alright? Everyone was on this motherfucker's island, alright? I'll be real. Everyone was on his island. You got the royalty from England on his island. You have every president, every prime minister, everyone was there. Listen, we don't know what they did there, but we know that everyone was there. And dude just suspiciously dies. Yeah, sure. So anyway, there are layers and layers onto this level of bullshit. His partner in crime, Ghislaine Maxwell, is still in prison. The recent news is that the government has announced that there is no Epstein list. There are no files. There's no list, no files, no shit. Nothing's happening. Now, the reason why this is very suspicious, if there are no clients, why am I in jail? Obviously, there's some crazy shit happening. Now, they released all the security footage, okay? This was one of the big W's. They released all the security footage of the actual Epstein case. So, as you can see here, this is the time on the footage. Pay attention to the time. It is currently 11:58:57 on the footage. As you can see, here is a door, which is not Epstein's door. The camera in front of Epstein's door wasn't working. So this camera is facing this hallway. Epstein's door is around this corner. So obviously you can't see shit, all right? Now, this is the actual footage that they released. Now, this is unedited, but look at what happens when it hits 59. It skips a minute and the camera frames differently. So people notice something pretty odd. 58:59, and then it skips a minute. So 1 minute of footage is missing from the security camera, for whatever reason. And the camera seems to have been reframed for whatever reason. You could argue that the camera's probably been looped and something suspicious is going on, but they released this without announcing it. People picked up on this themselves. I saw CoffeeZilla talking about it. Now, this is pretty freaking weird, okay? This is pretty freaking weird. Now, this is Kash Patel. He's the head of the FBI right now, but this is right before he was elected to the FBI.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
All right, so Kash Patel, before he becomes in charge of the FBI, he says it's because of who is on that list. That is why it's not released. He's scared. He's saying that people are scared that it's going to expose a lot of powerful people. All right. Now, this makes sense. Very logical. He ends up going to the FBI. He ends up actually getting elected. This is fantastic news. He will finally release the Epstein files. It's what everyone's been waiting for. We want to know and actually punish all these degenerate pieces of shit, right? Like, let's be honest. We want these guys to eat shit. Like, come on, dude. Anyway, This is what Kash Patel said after he went on Joe Rogan. That's a longer clip. I don't need to clip that long. Hold on, let me. There we go.
We've got footage, and you're getting it.
And that's the footage I showed you that a minute was cut out.
And then you can make up your own mind, and the theories can continue. But my job.
So you became aware of this footage recently.
The ones that we're looking at, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but this is like an article from quite a while ago that was saying that the footage was mistakenly erased.
Look, I mean, it goes back to the same. Ask the people that were in power then. I mean, I get it that you want to hold me to account for their actions, and
no, I'm not saying,
not you.
I'm not saying that.
Not you. Just the public in general, and that's okay.
What's confusing to everybody today? First of all, it's very confusing because AI can kind of make anything. You know, which has got to be a bizarre position for you to be in when you're looking at videos. I mean, I've watched Viking videos; it looked real as fuck. You know, they just make Viking towns. I mean, it's really quite incredible what they're doing now, and it accelerates every month. I mean, I talked to Elon about it, and he said we're blown away literally every week. Every week, there's some new breakthrough that we're like, wow, we didn't expect that.
Well, I can tell you after having looked at it, this ain't going to be AI.
You don't think so?
It's just not great. You know, it's like if it were AI, like someone wanted to come in and make it, they'd make it better.
But why would you make it better when people could, you could have ambiguous footage that is, totally generated by AI? I mean, AI can generate blurry images, AI can generate night vision, AI can generate essentially anything that's already existed, like really shitty 1984 VHS tapes. They can do that.
They can. But I'm telling you, I'm giving you the tape from the tape. There's... Just like I'm giving you the documents from the vault, just like I'm giving you information to Congress on COVID origins or what have you. What we find is what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Great.
The narrative has always been that there's video. Now, what is the chain of custody? Is there evidence that there is video? Is there evidence that it was moved around, stored, protected from people looking at it? Like,
you're going to get all that information. Like, that's literally what we're putting together.
But we didn't.
And we're going to give you every single thing we have and can. And that's the whole point. And so it's just stuff like that.
Since we were talking about fake news, this is going to come up because it's been going on since we've been recording here. Elon and Trump seem to be in a bit of a spat.
Okay, whatever. That doesn't matter anymore. But when you see the obvious difference in the side-by-side of him over here...
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
All right.
You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if release the names, right?
And I've said it, Dan Bongino said it, we've reviewed all the information, and the American public is going to get as much as we can release.
Right.
He killed himself.
Fantastic shit. Anyway, so obviously that's not super satisfying, especially because if you look at Pam Bondi, she is also the head of Secret Service. All right, so this is what she had to say.
I saw your appearance at CPAC with Ben and with Ted Cruz, and one of the things that you alluded to, and this is something Donald Trump has talked about, the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients.
All right.
Will that really happen?
That's huge, right? Because if we release the Department of Justice, if we release the list of all the clients, you know who the pedophiles are, baby. That's awesome. That's great.
It's sitting on my desk right now to
the list is on her desk. She has the list.
review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
My
So
God.
have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you. I saw your appearance.
All right, so she has the list.
James Comer said yesterday that all the Epstein files are missing. Can you confirm that? They still haven't heard from you.
No, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Tens of thousands of videos.
And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement.
All right, so they have the list. They have tens of thousands of videos. Justin, U.S. Department of Justice and the FBI conclude that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide and had no list. This is breaking news from today. So let me be real. They're lying! They're so obviously lying! It's insane how much they're obviously lying. Oh my god. Like, dude, we have to stop making believe that there's even a side of this that they might be telling the truth. This is complete hogwash, okay? They are literally looking you in the eyes, slapping you across the face, and lying to your ass. There is no alternative. Now, I obviously have theories. I have some theories. I think that it implicates a lot of powerful people. And because of that, obviously, people want to be assholes and not release that and implicate all those powerful people. Now, I don't know if Jeffrey Epstein was some secret CIA agent that he was getting blackmail on people. I don't know if he was MI6. I don't know if he was Mossad. He has connections to all of those different secret service through himself, through his partner in crime. There are so many different conspiracy theories, but the truth of the matter is, they're lying. I don't know what the reality is, but I know that it's not what they are telling me, okay? So, Moist Critical crashed the fuck out. All right, he made a video. He lost his shit. Now, you don't understand. This dude never makes politics videos, all right? Never makes politics videos, but he crashed the fuck out. I didn't watch it. People told me I needed to see it.
I'm about to have a conniption. I'm sure all of you have seen this by now, but I have to yap about it. It is infuriating. New information just dropped from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, if you want to call it that. I don't think that nomenclature applies to this circus that's being performed here with all of this. It's a clown show. It's about as much of an investigation as Bozo investigating a pie that was thrown in his face. It's a fucking joke.
I'm glad people know.
Read this headline and tell me it doesn't make you fail the try not to fume challenge. This shit has got me steaming. They are trying to, with a straight face, say that Jeffrey Epstein never had a client list and did commit suicide.
You see, the thing is, Jeffrey Epstein simply trafficked 1,000 children to no one. That's right. It was all for him. He was a professional diddler. Or something.
There was no foul play, no fishy business there. That was no horseradish, no flag on the play, just
Trump is taking the heat for this. Dude, it's not just Trump, okay? It's everyone. Biden sat on this for years. All right, everyone sat on this shit. No one's releasing it. It's so infuriating. And that's why I really feel like there has to be so much more to it. Listen, it's everyone. It's everyone. It's the whole fucking government. Obviously, there is some crazy, underhanded shit. That's why the conspiracy theories actually hold water. The conspiracy theories hold water because it literally doesn't even matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. Everyone somehow came together to put this shit under the rug. Bro, if Trump would have been on Epstein's list, all right, if it would implicate Trump, you don't think Kamala Harris or Biden would have released it in order to get Trump to not become president of the United States for the second time? Obviously, they would have. But they couldn't do it. They literally couldn't do it. For whatever reason, they couldn't release the list.
Classical suicide. Also, no client list, no blackmail, no evidence of either of those two things. How peculiar, considering it wasn't that long ago.
We have investigated ourselves and found it as completely innocent on all charges.
So that they were flaunting that the client list was coming out, the Epstein files were releasing.
They've been doing that. They've been trying.
The phase 1 files.
Dude, I totally remember that. They got all the fucking influencers holding the binders saying Epstein files. They were going out there, waving it around, making it look like they're so based.
To a bunch of influencers online for some photo ops, and they were posing like fucking prom pictures. They made a big hoopla that those were the Epstein files in their paws right there. And they'll eventually release to us plebeians out here.
Nope.
Well, if there's no client list,
surprise!
What the fuck is in those
Suck
folders?
my titties. They're empty.
Pokemon card binder? Like, what did you give them?
Smells like?
Yeah, apparently there's no client list, so what did you hand them? Just an empty file?
Bro, it's just giant files of child porn for all the professionals to look at. Yes, this is child porn. Yes, I agree. What about this one? That one's also child porn.
Folder? And not only that, Pam Bondi herself here, she has made so many statements about, like, how the Epstein client list is on her desk right now. You know, it's over there gathering dust. She'll eventually brush it all off and drip feed us the information as it comes, and everyone that's on that list is going to face justice. She was cutting WWE promos about the Jeffrey Epstein client list.
One of the reasons why people were so excited for Trump to become president, I think, was because he said he was going to release the list. And now there is no list. No list. It's like, oh my God.
She'd even set hard dates on when it's gonna drop like it was a new album. Mark your calendar, sports fans. The Epstein files dropping on this date. Then the date rolls around and it's just nothing. Like, actually nothing Burger Central. Like, shit got more delayed than Half-Life 3. It just never showed up, even though she would set dates, and then all of a sudden she's got excuses for why it's not there. But now, apparently there was no client list in the first place. So what the fuck was sitting on your desk, Pam?
Turns out the most transparent administration is not transparent enough, baby. It's just not enough. It really isn't.
How could the client list be sitting on your desk when the DOJ and FBI say that there is no client list?
You see, we were distracted by all the child porn to realize that there actually are no guilty people. That's right.
What an interesting pickle.
The sheer volume of nothing.
Well, that's quite a conundrum. Yeah. She says that she had the client list, like a physical copy on her desk. She constantly has referenced the client list, spoken directly about the client list. But now all of a sudden, DOJ and FBI said it's not a real thing.
All those children that were getting fucked by no one. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
I have no...
You've heard of victimless crimes, but now we're talking about victimful... not crimes.
No idea how she's even going to begin to tackle that.
I don't know. I feel like she's never going to tackle it. Like, what are you going to do, bro? What are you going to do? It's like, oh yeah, when I said the list, I just meant the list of victims, not the list of criminals. It's like, how do you have victims if you have no criminals? He didn't actually keep that list. You know, like, he Hillaried the emails, bro.
That plot hole there. It is crazy how stupid they treat the rest of humanity. Like, all of the people on the planet are...
by the way, true. Completely true. Absolutely. Absolutely. They think we're such fucking idiots. They could just say things, and it doesn't even matter if everyone knows that they're lies. Everyone knows it's not true, bro. Bro, Trump's got to start another war with Iran right now or to get us off of this shit. Bro, this is ridiculous.
Are lobotomites, and they can be fed any information whatsoever, and they'll accept it with a smile on their face and think nothing of it. And in some cases, that does happen. But in something like this, there should be 0 people on the planet that are happy with this. And
even the biggest Trump glazer, all right, wants the Epstein list. Absolutely.
Believe this, because this is the most blatant, fraudulent lie since Wes Watson lying about being 6 feet tall. This is absurd. This is just ridiculous. It is downright
maybe the biggest lie since Moist Critical said he was average height.
Diabolical.
Diabolical! Oh my God.
To be doing a cover-up job like this. It's literally fart investigated poop and found no shit. They have talked about it themselves for so long about having this client list
not anymore.
And all of this blackmail evidence and everything.
Turns out everyone's on the list, and when everyone's on the list, no one is.
Thinking about how all of them are going to face
oopsie poopsie, our list was on the missile that bombed the Iranian nuclear facility.
Justice. Pam Bondi talked about tens of thousands of videos that they recovered as well. Like, how are you going to just wipe your ass with that and expect people to believe it? If anyone believes this, you need serious psychiatric help. If you actually swallow this shit they fed you with this information, that it's, you know, a case of suicide, no client list, and no blackmail, you really need to take a hard look in the mirror.
You know, I'll be real. I think I could believe 2 of those things. All right? But all 3 of them is impossible. Impossible. It literally is impossible.
Because you are just not like a thinker. Like, you don't have a thinking cap on at all.
Like, bro, everyone agrees there's thousands of victims. Thousands of victims. How could there be no clients? They didn't traffic thousands of people to no one, bro. Like, we have got to stop doing this. We have got to stop doing this.
Because this is just absurd. There should be no one on the planet that is fooled by this. This should make you mad. It absolutely should make you very upset. Because this is blatantly covering up for corrupt, evil people in high positions of power. I saw this said as a joke, but I actually think we're pretty close to them just denying Jeffrey Epstein ever even existed in the first place. I really think the next step here is they're going to start talking about, like, evidence.
Jeffrey Epstein? You mean that guy that was invented by the government? Wait, what do you mean?
To confirm that Jeffrey Epstein was never real. It was a code name for like a shadow operative that never actually existed.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I feel like that's crazy.
There was no island. There were no victims. I think we are not far away from them trying that play. Because they are using every weird tactic in the book to try and bury anything even remotely related to Jeffrey Epstein, while trying to put on a strong face about how everyone's going to face justice. Well, where's that? That hasn't happened.
He's right.
And it hasn't happened for years. So what is up with all of this lying? They just keep kicking the can down the road. They have still not released the Epstein files, and now they've put the kibosh on it, saying the Epstein files aren't even real in the first place.
You know what I'm really curious about? Obviously, I want to know who the fucking pedophiles are. That's one. But one thing that I'm really curious about is what is the reasoning for the government lying like this? Like, why are they lying like this? And you know it's only a handful of people that actually know the truth, right? So why are they lying? Literally. Why? Blackmail? Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my lord.
It's all just made up, a fucking illusion. So now it is 100% ensuring everyone that was associated with all of that evil gets away with it. And they're just proudly doing it in front of the entire American public's face, spitting in everyone's...
It's not just American public, it's a worldwide sham. You don't understand. They had connections to MI6, to CIA, to Mossad, to French intelligence. They had tangible connections through family ties or shit like that to all of these different Secret Service places. I don't know what went on, obviously, but there has been some heinous shit that went on. I don't know.
Mouth by trying to say it doesn't exist, it's not real. No client list, no blackmail, nothing like that, and he did kill himself. And apparently they're releasing some surveillance camera footage, like a lot of hours worth of that.
Yeah, which was all nothing except for that it skipped a minute.
To show that no one entered his cell during any of that.
And it didn't even show his cell.
That time. Obviously just doing everything in their power to put the conversation.
It's like, yeah, guys, I'm sorry the answer's boring, conspiracy theorists. Oh my god. It's not that it's boring, it's that it makes no sense.
Of Jeffrey Epstein and everything around the topic to rest. So now you have the three-letter organizations all working together, the DOJ, the FBI, the DVD, the VCR, the BBL, all
the BBC.
All of them working together, now trying to sell this horseradish about there being no client list and no blackmail.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot believe that they are just trying to just say that, even though it's been something they've supposedly acted on and investigated for years and made huge progress on.
Yeah, so much progress, all these files, all the victims, thousands of people, flight logs. Dude, they had flight logs. Bro, there's no client list, but there are logs of thousands of rich people flying to the island. All right? Bro, stop. Like, why are you treating us like this? God damn!
I want to get the information out to the American.
That's why I think it's important that you have influencers and social media people and not mainstream media people actually talking about this. Otherwise, it would just get swept under the rug. And you know that it would. You know legacy media would just be like, well, we've investigated ourselves and we found ourselves innocent in all charges.
American people, because of these dangerous individuals that need to be held accountable and face justice for the crimes that they engaged in on Jeffrey Epstein's island. It was even used as a political talking point for some individuals to gain positions of power.
True.
Using it as part of their platform about how they're going.
Yeah, I'm Cash Patel. If I become in charge of the FBI, I'll release the Epstein files on day one. Anyway, there are no files.
Going to fight for justice and release these Jeffrey Epstein files that have been, clogged up for so long and not, the information not out and available to the public. They were going to be the ones to break that dam. They were going to pursue this, come hell or high water, fighting night and day for it. And now those people have been elected only to flip-flop, and now they're totally fine burying the Jeffrey Epstein subject entirely. You should be asking yourself, why?
Yeah,
I'll stop ranting on it, but it is just mind-boggling.
It's crazy.
How dumb the government thinks everybody is.
Bro, Charlie, holy shit, Charlie. If he makes a follow-up video to this, think about how insane this would be. I'm actually going to message him about this. If he makes a follow-up video to this being like, after thinking about it, I've decided that there are no Epstein files. Yeah, I looked into it a little bit, and I met up with a certain person at the FBI to ask him directly, and I'm completely convinced, actually. It actually is something of a nothing burger altogether. Shit smelled fart, and there is no smell of ass whatsoever. He did kill himself. I'm sure of it now. He actually did do it. There's no blackmail. I think there were no victims. Thank you for watching. I'm pretty sure that nothing happened at all, actually. I was not bought off or paid off or anything. That's just what I think.
And I hope they're not right, because under no circumstances should this be something that people just let go of. Like, oh, this is a bit of a blemish right now, but people forget it in a little while. It's not that big.
The problem is, you can never really let go of this, but simultaneously, we're not even going to make progress. Like, even if you let go, we're not going to make progress.
Give a deal. It's a huge deal. And there should be nobody out there downplaying it. This is preposterous. And
I have a feeling we will never know the truth, by the way. I think we will never know the truth. I think that ultimately, the people in power are powerful enough to be able to hide anything. And people will not forget about this. People will mention this again and again and again. But realistically, I have a feeling we're never going to get anywhere.
I just had the yap about it. I just said I'd stop ranting about it, but now I'm once again getting fucking wound up about it.
It really is frustrating. It's really frustrating. I really don't think that I don't think anyone should be above the law. If you have these fucking pedophiles out there everywhere, absolutely, they should be destroyed.
That's really about it. So yeah.
Yeah, but whenever I hear about the Epstein thing, it's the more likely I believe in like all the conspiracy theory globalist people that are controlling the world and manipulating shit and Illuminati crap. Like, you don't understand. Jeffrey Epstein is such like it's the most, in my opinion, the most damning evidence of some sort of global cabal. All right, there really is. Like this dude sex trafficked thousands of children. Okay. They had thousands of videos of child porn. All right. Yeah, there are no victims, guys. There's no victims. No victims. We find ourselves innocent in all charges. The children, they trafficked themselves. Actually, is what happened on Epstein's island. Yeah. Anyway, it's obvious hogwash. It's obvious bullshit, and that's why I wanted to watch this. I didn't see this yet, but people told me it gets super heated. So Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, gets asked the hard questions. Apparently, they ask her a lot of questions about Epstein because obviously the media wants clicks. So anyway, let's see what happens. Holy shit! I don't know what satanic shit happened on that island. I don't know what is actually going on in the world, bro. But this ain't it. There were no planes, actually. There were no planes. Yes, of course, obviously. Jeffrey Epstein, it was actually Zordon from Power Rangers. He was just a floating head in a tube. All right, I'm sure. What's happening with Ghislaine Maxwell? She's in prison! She's in prison for 20 years for sex trafficking to no one! Do you understand how retarded this is? All right, let's go. All right, cooking with Caroline, let's go. Yeah, this was the day I wouldn't wear the cross too, by the way, Caroline. Yeah, she normally wears a cross. She picked the right day not to wear a cross. Gonna defend Jeffrey Epstein out there. I mean, I don't even blame her personally. I don't think she knows the truth. I think she's just, she has to talk to the press the way she's instructed. She's instructed to talk to the press. I don't think she has any idea the actual truth behind the Epstein thing. However, she picked the right day not to wear a cross.
Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, let's go.
Hope you all had a great weekend.
Yeah.
I want to start by addressing the devastation from the tragic flash floods in Texas. Moments ago, the Department of Homeland Security provided an update that 91 innocent souls have now perished. Everyone here at the White House, including the President of the United States, is praying for the victims' families and friends during this unimaginable time. President Trump swiftly signed a major disaster declaration for Kerr County, Texas, to ensure our heroic first responders have every resource they need in the relief and recovery efforts. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem traveled to Texas over the weekend, and the entire Trump administration is working hand in glove with state and local officials to provide every assistance available. The situation on the ground remains dangerous, and there could be additional public safety threats with potential incoming heavy rain. So we encourage everyone in the area to remain vigilant, listen to all warnings, and respond accordingly.
Damn.
Unfortunately, in the wake of this once-in-a-generation natural disaster, we have seen many falsehoods pushed by Democrats such as Senator Chuck Schumer and some members of the media. Blaming President Trump for these floods is a depraved
unacceptable.
lie. And it's
unacceptable! I actually made a video about that already. If you want to see the amount of lies that they've been pushed, it's this video over here. The Destiny ended his own career video. Destiny basically went crashing out on Twitter saying how the children deserve to die because God killed them, so they deserve to die. It was like his big jab. So you should absolutely take a look at that one. There were an unbelievable amount of people on the Democrats and on CNN and Rosie O'Donnell and everyone and their mother came out to blame Trump for flash floods that that drowned children. It's a real tragedy. It really is. And they all lied. By the way. They all lied. Because there were adequate warnings. There were people that were working there. They claimed that Trump fired the meteorologists, which is bullshit because they were actually overstaffed. It's insane.
During this time of national mourning.
She's right.
Here are the facts. In the lead up to this tragic natural disaster, the National Weather Service did its job. Despite unprecedented rainfall, the National Weather Service executed timely and precise forecasts and warnings. On July 3rd, the National Weather Service office in Austin, San Antonio, Texas, conducted forecast briefings for emergency management in the morning and issued a flood watch in the early afternoon. Flash flood warnings were also issued on the night of July 3rd and in the early morning of July 4th, giving preliminary lead times of more than 3 hours before flash flooding conditions occurred. And the National Weather Service office in New Braunfels, which delivers forecasts for Austin, San Antonio, and the surrounding areas, had extra staff on duty during the storms.
We covered that.
Claims
they were supposed to have two people on. They were supposed to have 2 people on staff at the time, and they had 5 people. They were actually overstaffed. And this was a giant hoax pushed by the media to say, I can't believe Trump and Doge, and they fired meteorologists. Absolute piece of shit. Pieces of shit, by the way. And the point is, like, everyone's making this comparison to people that were criticizing the government over the California wildfires. This is like the big zinger on the left right now is being like, oh, you care about the children dying in Texas, but you didn't care, but you made fun of the California wildfires. Well, first of all, I never made fun of people dying in California. To be clear, I have never made a video laughing at, people dying and getting burnt alive in California. What I did say is criticize the government because the government actually fucking fucked up. They really did. They didn't have working fire hydrants in California, bro. They didn't have working fire hydrants. So yes, that's a very valid criticism. And here, there really isn't a government to criticize. The government didn't do anything wrong here.
The contrary. So to any person who has deliberately lied about these facts surrounding this catastrophic event, you should be deeply ashamed. At this time, the administration's focus will be giving the victims and their communities the support they deserve during these recovery efforts in this tragic time. May God bless the great people of Texas, especially the parents who have lost their children. President Trump loves you. We are praying for you, and he will be traveling to see you later this week.
Goddamn.
Moving along to some further scheduling announcements. Tonight, President Trump will host the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, for dinner, where they will discuss the positive developments taking place in the Middle East region. Tomorrow, the president will host his 6th cabinet meeting of his 2nd term. Many of you will be invited to cover that. And on Wednesday, the president will host leaders from 5 African nations for lunch in the state dining room. In other news, after the historic signing on the South Lawn of the White House on the 4th of July, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill is now the law of the land.
Republicans I still can't believe the Big Beautiful Bill actually passed. I'm still shocked. By the way, to all the people losing their shit over the Big Beautiful Bill, none of you have any valid criticism. Okay. That's not true. Some people obviously do. However, you guys can shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about. I hear so many people crying over it, being like, oh, we're all losing healthcare. Bro, this shit isn't happening. Oh my God. There's definitely valid points to criticize in the giant bill, but the vast majority of people crying don't actually know what they're talking about. They don't know what's in it. They're just crying because Trump said it, so it must be bad.
Congress met the once-in-a-generation moment and codified the Make America Great Again.
To be clear, I'll stand by exactly what I always said about the big beautiful bill. This is literally what I've always said. I really wish it was many little bills. That's what I always wanted. I always wanted bills to be passed where there's one bill, it's one paper, it's one fucking line of law, all right? No tax on tips, period, signed, the end. That's what I want to see, all right? That's the shit that I want to see. All right? I don't want a big beautiful bill that's over 1,000 pages long with so much pork and fat and schlorp in that bill. I don't want any of that bullshit, all right? That's what I want. I want one-liner bills. But anyway, no, I'll forget what I want. They obviously want to shove shit in their bills. They want to fill that stuff to the gills.
Agenda into law. After this monumental achievement, no other president in modern history has worked harder and faster to fulfill their campaign promises than Donald Trump. The one big beautiful bill will get the United States of America firing again on all cylinders.
All right.
It's safe to say that over the past few weeks, the president has delivered on many, many wins. For the fourth month in a row, jobs numbers beat market expectations with nearly 150,000 good jobs created in the month of June.
Yeah,
the American
baby!
economy has now added nearly 700,000 jobs since January 2025, with American-born workers account.
By the way, this is obviously attributed to several things. One, tariffs are forcing other countries to open factories in America, giving jobs to Americans. Right? So tariffs are one way to vastly boost the amount of jobs Americans have. And the second way is you're getting rid of illegal immigrants. So instead of having people illegally in the country that are taking your jobs, because that obviously that's what they do. If you work, you have a McDonald's, all right, and you want to hire someone to flip burgers, all right, you're going to pay someone $8 that's legal in the country, or you're going to pay someone $4 that's not legal in the country. Well, obviously you take the cheaper guy. So if you're going to deport the illegal immigrants, I am just saying, a humble opinion, it obviously makes jobs. Yes, deporting illegal immigrants makes jobs, tariffs makes jobs, and surprisingly, jobs are up now under Trump. Kind of crazy how that happens.
Counting for all job gains.
That's crazy.
President Trump drove illegal border crossings to another historic low in the month of June, and Border Patrol once again released 0 illegal aliens into our country. The Supreme Court stopped activist judges from imposing nationwide injunctions and cleared the way for President Trump to carry out his popular and common sense agenda.
Oh my God.
The University of Pennsylvania agreed to all of the Trump administration's demands and will now keep men.
Yeah, baby! That's what I'm talking about. Look, this is such a logic, obvious nothing burger, but it just feels so good to win.
President Trump secured his trade deal with Vietnam, giving the United States total access to their markets. Because of President Trump's unleashing American energy dominance, gas prices are at 4-year lows. And when adjusted for inflation, gas prices are near the lowest levels we've seen in the last 20 years. NATO members agreed to raise defense spending to 5% of GDP, a foreign policy feat long thought impossible until President Trump made it happen. The Operation Midnight Hammer obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities, taking out this imminent national security threat, not just to the United States, but to the entire world. The president secured a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, ending the 12-day war. The president brokered a historic peace agreement between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Pakistan nominated President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of his decisive diplomatic intervention to prevent a nuclear war between India and Pakistan. Blue-collar wage.
Bro, is this just like she knows the Epstein question is coming, all right? We're all on the same page, right? She knows the Epstein question is coming, so she decided to cook at diabolical levels. She is like, I am going to tell you every good thing we have ever done. Every good thing ever, all right?
Growth has seen its largest increase in nearly 60 years, and President Trump has defeated Joe Biden's inflation crisis with core inflation at the lowest level since March of 2021. And just about all of that has happened in the last 3 weeks, and I know you all know it because you've been very busy here covering it.
Yeah, the funny thing is, like, they've had they've had Cooking with Caroline meetings, all right, since then, all right? They have had that. But, you know.
With us. So with that, I will take your questions today as we kick off another very busy week here at the White House. We'll lead with our new media seat, Brian Glenn, who is, of course, very present in this briefing room. He's put in a lot of hours covering this president, so we're glad you finally have a seat today, Brian.
I don't know what that is.
It feels great to sit down. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I want to go back to the hurricane. You said that President Trump is scheduled to go to Texas later this week. Can you speculate on what day and what he has plans?
Sure. The White House is currently arranging those travel plans. We hope that it will be later this week, likely on Friday, but of course we want to do it at the most appropriate time on the ground for state and local officials. We don't want to interrupt the recovery efforts, but we're planning tentatively for a Friday trip, and when that becomes final, we'll let all of you know, as we always do.
And you gave a little bit of reaction earlier, but the National Weather Service, the union, actually publicly stated they had an adequate staff on hand to forecast and predict the storm. You shared your thoughts earlier on how the way the left has really weaponized to blame.
I made a whole video on that. Honestly, I'm so happy people are calling it out. The fact that there's like, dude, they're blaming Trump for rain, bro. Look, man, I am all for a little bit of Trump derangement syndrome. It's always fun to make fun of retards that are losing their shit when Trump does things. But how do you blame this motherfucker for rain, bro? Oh my God.
The deaths in Texas on Trump.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, I just do think those comments are depraved and despicable, especially when so many Americans are mourning the loss of their children. The National Weather Service, as I said, did its job. Many experts, many meteorologists have said that. Many of you in the media, in all fairness, have said that as well. Unfortunately, not all. And many Democratic officials are trying to turn this into a political game, and it is not. This is a national tragedy, and the administration is treating it as such. We know the National Weather Service provided early and consistent warnings. They gave out timely flash flood alerts. There were record-breaking lead times in the lead up to this catastrophe.
All
There's
true.
ongoing flood monitoring.
I showed all the evidence.
These offices
She's
were
right.
well staffed. In fact, one of the offices was actually overstaffed. They had more.
I'm so happy that people are talking about this, because it's absolutely insufferable that you have a natural disaster in Texas, 28 children from a Christian camp, right? Just children drowned, okay? And you have people in the media jumping to climb on top of their pile of corpses to yell at Trump. Like, it is absolutely some of the most vile, subhuman shit I've ever seen.
People than they need. So any claim to the contrary is completely
That's why I'm so happy, by the way, we have independent media, by the way. All right? Independent media lets you call out those sick motherfuckers.
false, and it's just sad.
Definitely subscribe. Let's up those numbers.
That people are pushing these lies.
Can I just get one more?
Sure.
Kind of a little bit of breaking news. The Department of Homeland Security is moving to end the TPS status on Honduran and Nicaraguan migrants.
Right.
Any plans to adding additional countries that you could be targeting? Just a reaction.
Sure. Well, I won't get ahead of the Department of Homeland Security on additional countries, but as you pointed out, they did end temporary protective status for Nicaraguans and Hondurans in this country because TPS, temporary protective status, is temporary by definition. It is not meant to be a permanent path to residency or citizenship here in the United States of America. It was originally granted to Nicaraguans following a natural disaster in 1999. That doesn't sound very temporary to me. And as well as Hondurans in 1999 after the impact of Hurricane Mitch in 1998. And so this administration is doing what it promised to do. And if individuals from these countries want to come here, they have a legal pathway to do it, but temporary protective status was never meant to be permanent. The previous administration abused this status and this parole program, essentially treating it as such, and we're not going to tolerate that any further.
By the way, this is incredibly based. That is incredibly based. See, TPS, temporary protection status, is temporary by definition, right? So it is really important to note the fact that America doesn't owe these people anything, right, dude? I pay taxes, all right? My taxes go to America to help America, all right? It doesn't go to help Nicaraguans. Now, I very much appreciate the fact that America helps a lot of other countries. I think that's an amazing thing, all right? They've been doing this literally since the dawn of American existence. They've been going out there clobbering bad guys for as long as America's been around, and I think that's incredibly awesome. But realistically, bro, the fact that we are focusing more on other people than us is retarded. It really is. It really absolutely is. I personally, I'm a very big fan of the whole idea of temporary protective status. Nux dropped the hard R Nicaraguans. I'm sorry, bro. I had to do it. But, God, that sounds so bad now that I think about it. Fuck you. All right, no, but anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is as follows. Temporary protective status is temporary, and deporting people who are overstaying their temporary legal visit is based as fuck. I'm sorry, a country needs borders.
Thank you, Brian. Megan.
Secretary Bessent said yesterday that countries will boomerang back to the April 2nd tariff level starting August 1st. Why did the president decide to have those tariffs not take effect Wednesday as originally scheduled? And then I was also wondering if you could share, obviously we saw the letters the president sent out on Japan and South Korea, but if any other major U.S. trading partners are getting letters today.
Sure, yes, I can confirm. In fact, I have those letters. If you could get me the folder with the letters in them, Liz.
All right, let's go.
Previous office.
Love that.
I have the signed letters that went out to both South Korea and Japan today. And there will be approximately 12 other countries that will receive notifications and letters directly from the President of the United States. And weeks ago, I stood at this podium and I told all of you that the President was going to create tailor-made trade plans for each and every country on this planet. And that's what this administration continues to be focused on. The president will also sign an executive order today delaying the July 9th deadline to August 1st. So the reciprocal tariff rate or these new rates that will be provided in this correspondence to these foreign leaders will be going out the door within the next month, or deals will be made. And those countries continue to negotiate with the United States. We've seen a lot of positive developments in the right direction, but the administration, the president, and his trade team want to cut the best deals for the American people.
It's a deal maker.
That's what
I respect it.
And in the effort of transparency, these letters will continue to be posted to Truth Social, so you can enjoy them yourself. Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. Just about the visit of Prime Minister Netanyahu today, I was just wondering why that is not open to the press. Previous visits by him, we've had Oval Office press conference.
It's actually a really good question, honestly. That's actually a really, really good question. Not even gonna lie. That's a fucking fantastic question. Realistically, important to note, the previous times Netanyahu visited America, they did like the press briefing where they sat together in the Oval Office. They were surrounded by reporters. Everyone asked questions to both of them, but now it's a closed cabinet meeting, which is really interesting, actually. So that's a good question.
Does that reflect somehow the kind of sensitivity of this particular visit?
No, they're having a private dinner. There's many important...
Bro, if they don't ask her about the Epstein questions, I am literally going to kill myself. Okay, come on, dude. What is going on?
Matters that are obviously ongoing in the region, as you know. The utmost priority for the president right now in the Middle East is to end the war in Gaza and to return all of the hostages. Also, as you know, there was a ceasefire proposal that Israel supports that was sent to Hamas, and we hope that they will agree to this proposal.
By the way, to make this clear, Hamas keeps rejecting ceasefires. Bro, for people getting quote-unquote genocided, why the shit are they rejecting ceasefires? Bro, they're claiming they're getting genocided every single day. Why do they keep rejecting ceasefires? Oh my lord. They're like, yo, we're gonna give your people food and stop fighting. And they're like, no, we're good. It's like, all right, all you need to do is return the hostages and the war ends. No, it's okay. What do you mean, no, it's okay? Nah, it's okay? Oh, my lord. Guys. Yeah, Hamas is horrible. They're evil. They're fucking evil creatures. They really are.
We want to see all of the hostages released. That's on the top of the president.
And Hasan Piker, largest leftist political streamer, supports them, by the way. Literally supports them. Right? This is the guy that hates billionaires. Meanwhile, every single person at the top of Hamas is a billionaire. All the leaders are all billionaires. Oh, my lord. Like, the hypocrisy is insane. Anyone that's saying free Palestine but is also pro-Hamas is a retarded asshole, and you will never convince me otherwise.
President's mind, so that will be discussed as well as the many other...
They started the war. They're killing their own people. Every single day, they kill their own people. They keep announcing that Israel is killing them with zero footage and zero evidence. I'm sure Israel kills a lot of them, let's be real. But there's zero footage or zero evidence, even though they have evidence of everything else. They're killing their own people. They're starving their own people. They started a war that they could end. They could end the war now. They could have ended the war on October 8th, bro. Eat my entire ass, brother. These are demons. Oh my God. And then you have people protesting in the streets. Oh my God, we love Hamas. Hamas are so good. They're so cool. We're queers for Palestine. Yeah, I know they'd throw me off a building for being gay, but we love them.
Other positive developments we've seen in the Middle East. I want to go back to the trade deals. As you see, we have these beautiful letters that the president has signed. This one is to the president of the Republic of Korea. Original signature on that. And these will be mailed. And then here we also have another letter to the Prime Minister of Japan as well. Both countries will...
Bro, did you see the news, by the way, that Trump forgot it? Wait, did you see... Did you see the news that Trump forgot the Prime Minister of Japan's name, so he just kept calling it Mr. Japan? Dude, I'm sorry. Wait, Mr. Japan. God, dude. Oh, wait, hold on. I have to show this to you, bro. Mr. Japan. Only my president would do such a thing. I'm just saying, bro. Oh, gosh, he's so fucking based for this.
Then I help China. So by reducing it.
We still don't know. We don't have the clarity on what you're going to do with these expiration of these pauses. July 9?
No, I thought I just said it. No, I thought I just said it. You ready?
You're going to send letters.
I'm going to send letters. That's the end of the trade deal. I could send one to Japan. Dear Mr. Japan, here's the story. You're going to pay a 25% tariff on your cars, you know.
Dear Mr. Japan, this is how it's going to be. Oh my God. Domo arigato, Mr. Japan.
Will be receiving a 25% tariff rate effective on August 1st.
Thank you so much. You said it, and the president said it many times. You want to see an end to the war in Gaza.
Yeah.
Will he give guarantees during this 60-day period of ceasefire that actually the war will end? Because this is a sticking point with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and I'm wondering if they see eye to eye on this point. And how do you see the next day? What the next day in Gaza will look like?
Look, right now the president is focused on today and to get the Hamas to agree to this ceasefire. I don't want to comment on the...
Kind of weird that Hamas are getting genocided and they still don't want a ceasefire. It's pretty weird, The first time in all of history that people getting genocided don't want a ceasefire.
The details of the arrangement out of respect for these negotiations, but a agreeable and appropriate ceasefire proposal has been sent to Hamas. And I can also tell you Special Envoy Witkoff intends to travel to Doha later this week, where he will continue to engage in these discussions. And the Qataris and the Egyptians have been incredibly helpful partners in mediating these negotiations and discussions to bring peace to this region and end this conflict once and for all.
Kristen, 2 questions. Thank you, Caroline. Sure. The first question is President Trump reconsidering his plan to phase out FEMA, given what officials have said is their critical on the ground now?
No!
Look, the president
He's not reconsidering anything.
American citizens always have...
This is such a shitty line of questioning, because it's implying that cutting FEMA is causing these floods to be as tragic as they are in Texas. It's such a disingenuous question. It really is.
What they need during times of need. Whether that assistance comes from states or the federal government, that's a policy discussion that will continue.
He's doing a really good job here.
And the president has always said he wants states to do as much as they can, if not more. And in the case of Texas, the state and local officials are doing a tremendous job. And I know the president, Secretary Noem, and the federal government are very proud to be working with them. And the president has promised to give Texas the assistance that they need during this tragic time.
Just one follow-up on cuts overall.
Bro, where's Epstein?
Trump said that Elon Musk was a train wreck. Are there, given this current viewpoint, are there concerns within the White House or from the president himself over the cuts that happened under Musk while he was advising Doge, including...
Oh my God! Everything Doge. How are they still doing this? Doge literally cutted waste, fraud, and abuse. How are we still doing this Doge shtick, bro?
Weather Service?
I think I've already addressed that.
Yeah, they're not changing cuts. The cuts that they made, they're happy with what they made, okay? Yes. It's not Trump's fault that rain happens, okay?
Kristen, and what I can tell you is that these offices were fully staffed The San Angelo office was fully staffed with 12 forecast meteorologists. There were no vacancies.
Oh my God, I can't believe Trump caused a flood.
The office was operating with 11 forecasters. And as Brian said, the union themselves said that there was adequate staffing. So I think those words speak for themselves and the numbers speak for themselves. This was a once-in-a-century flash flood, a tragic natural disaster, and the administration is doing all that we can on the ground to help these families during this time of need. Jeff.
Thanks very much, Caroline. Just following up on Kristen's question, is it still the president's plan to phase FEMA out by the end of this year?
I just answered Kristen's question for you.
One more, hold on, one more.
Sure, I'll give it to you. Go ahead.
The follow-up on trade as well. 12 more letters coming, you said. Can you give us a sense of which countries those are?
I'll let the president reveal those in very due time. Keep your eyes on Truth Social. Michael, in the back.
Thank you, Caroline. An armed shooter today was shot in McAllen, Texas, after opening fire on border.
By the way, this is fucking horrible. I wanted to show this to you really badly. I'm glad that he's bringing this up, actually.
Patrol agents. Comes just days after Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal recently said she gets, quote, inspired when activists obstruct ICE.
Let me show you something. And if this does not boil your blood, I don't know what will. All right? This was published in Axios. The grassroots wants more. Some of them have suggested what we really need to do is be willing to get shot when visiting ICE facilities or federal agencies, a third House Democrat told Axios. This is a House Democrat, all right? A House Democrat. Our own base is telling us what we are doing is not enough, that there needs to be blood to grab the attention of the press and the public. The lawmaker said. A fourth House Democrat said the constituents have told them civility isn't working and prepare for violence to fight to protect our democracy. Right? This fight is against ICE agents that are doing their job. All right? These are House Democrats. 4 hours after that was posted, shooting at Texas Border Patrol office, 3 injured, gunman killed. This is disgusting. This is absolutely despicable shit. This is absolutely fucking horrible, despicable shit. And I think absolutely the Democrats that were involved, in my opinion, the Democrats that were involved in being lawmakers, saying things like this, that there needs to be blood to grab the attention of the public, that this is incitement of violence, and they caused the injury of these 3 people. Not directly, but they absolutely created the atmosphere that had this happen. I really think the far left is a terrorist organization.
Does the White House expect Democrats to tone down their rhetoric in light of
they
what
better.
we saw today in McAllen?
I think people need to start getting arrested for this, by the way. People need to absolutely start getting investigated by the FBI and arrested for stuff like this. Like actual direct incitement of violence, that is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like this is the classic Hasan Piker kill Rick Scott moment. And it's horrible.
Certainly call on Democrats to tone down their rhetoric against ICE and Border Patrol agents who, again, are everyday men and women. I would encourage AOC and other Democrats to actually meet with the United States Border Patrol. These are honorable Americans who are just simply trying to do their job to enforce the law.
I completely agree.
They go home to their families every night just like we all do, and they deserve respect and dignity for trying to enforce our nation's immigration laws and to remove public safety threats from our communities.
Absolutely.
The White House is aware of the shooting that took place today in Texas, and we are working with the appropriate federal agencies to get to the bottom of what happened.
Caroline, the DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters?
Finally! Oh my God! Oh, here we go. Jeffrey Epstein client list. Oh my God. I've been waiting for this for so long. Alex Jones started crying. Wait, what? Someone just linked this to me. What's this?
A disaster. I don't know how they got Trump and the DOJ to do this because the public is not buying it. No one is buying it. So I never saw any evidence of Trump involved in any of the stuff that came out. It was all fake. The fake Jane Does, all the crap, you know, E. Jean Carroll, the crazy leftist cat lady, all of it. So now by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. So I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now.
God damn.
Because I have integrity. And I just really need the Trump administration to succeed and to save this country, and they're doing so much good. And then for them to do something like this tears my guts out.
God damn.
And, the left, they're all complicit. They're openly promoting pedophilia. We know they're pure evil. And they'll think it's all funny. Oh, look, Alex is sad.
I love how he just says that like it's a tangent. I love how he just says that tangentially, bro. Oh, the left, we know. They're all pedophiles and evil. All right, but anyway.
Your globalist masters literally want you to eat bugs and live in a 5G 200 square foot coffin apartment.
All right, okay. All right, holy shit. Oh my god. Anyway, he said no lies. Moving on.
DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration.
True. Not relevant.
And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive...
Child pornography with who? What, it was just children filming themselves? Did they traffic themselves to the island, bro? Did they traffic themselves to the island? Where they had personally fucked themselves? Is that what happened on Epstein's island? Or were there bad guys? Were the only bad guys Jeffrey Epstein? Did he have sex with thousands of children on the island? Where suspiciously every rich person on the planet has flight logs that they flew to that island?
Investigation, that's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
It's transparency. We told you we would release all the information. Anyway, we're innocent on all charges. Moving on. Oh, I don't know. I wonder if she believes what she says. I wonder if she believes what she says. Nah, that's diabolical. Holy shit.
Follow up on that, Caroline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein.
All right. Oh, look how unhappy she is that she's being asked another question about this. There's no way she believes what she's saying, bro. There's no way.
According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said was on her desk?
Holy! That's exactly what I showed at the beginning of the fucking video. That's exactly what I showed at the very beginning. Pam Bondi said we have the list on our desk. What was in the list? Oh my God, all right.
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
All right.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to.
And the crimes were just him having sex with thousands of children? Oh my God, stop! Stop, why are you doing this?
And I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department
I'll let her speak for me.
of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars.
Except the bad people, some bad people. Well, that bad guy's dead, right? But the other bad people that were involved, well, we don't want to release that. We're about putting 99% of bad people behind bars. The other 1% of bad people, we make them the rulers of our society.
They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history.
That's really good. That's really, really fucking good. That's fantastic news. But it's not relevant at all.
Their emphasis on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent criminals.
That's fucking awesome. and also not at all relevant.
It's a 62% increase from the same time period last year. So this Attorney General and the FBI Director are committed to putting bad people behind bars where they belong. That they promised an exhaustive review. That's what they did. For any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
That's painful. If you actually watch the video, though, if you actually watch the video I showed you earlier, this is the one they're talking about on Fox News. She says she has a client list, bro.
I saw your appearance at CPAC with Ben and with Ted Cruz, and one of the things that you alluded to, and this is something Donald Trump has talked about, the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
All right. The list of his clients.
It's sitting on my desk right now to...
It is referring to the list of clients.
review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because...
Right. And now there's no list. Cool. Cool. Listen, I've just kind of decided that we're not getting the truth on this, bro. We're not getting the truth on this. We're really not. And that sucks. That really sucks a lot. It really does. It really fucking sucks a lot. And justice will be served. But it will be served by God. It'll be served by God instead of by man, I guess. Whatever. It's diabolical.
Thanks, Caroline. With Prime Minister Netanyahu visiting the White House today, yesterday the president said that he was working on a more permanent deal with Iran, but several days ago he didn't think one was necessary. What changed?
Well, when you asked me about this, or when you all asked me about this several weeks ago, I said the president thought maybe an Iran deal was not necessary, but of course the president is always interested in peace and diplomacy. That remains true, and the administration continues to be in contact, both directly and indirectly, with the Iranians on a deal.
And then on tariffs, you're now delaying the deadline from July 9th to August 1st. Is that an acknowledgement that perhaps the administration found it more difficult to negotiate these trade deals, or whatever happened to 90 deals in 90 days?
No, it's an acknowledgement that this administration is doing what's best for the American worker, and we want the best deals possible for our workers, for our manufacturing base, for our middle class, and they are doing this deliberately and appropriately on behalf of our country's interests. Josh.
A couple more on the tariffs. You said about 12 more letters. There were about 55 or so countries, including the EU as a bloc, that were facing this tariff increase. All of those, to understanding correctly, are now deferred to August 1st, right?
Correct.
On the 12, what happens with the remaining, whatever it would be, 40 something?
So just 12 today. There will be additional letters in the coming days.
So all of them are going to get a letter at some point?
Correct.
Okay, and can you tell me why he decided to start with South Korea and Japan? Are they annoying him?
It's the president's prerogative, and those are the countries he chose.
Sectoral tariffs, our understanding that these continue to be a separate track. We're still waiting
Valid, by the way.
If there's any timing update on when
He has the right to make deals with everyone.
Semiconductor tariffs and other things that are still in the hopper.
I don't have a timing update, but for where they are in the process, I would defer you to the Department of Commerce.
We expect deals finally as well. He announced his Vietnam deal. Are you close on any other countries?
The president and the administration, yes, we are close. But again, the president wants to ensure these are the best deals possible. And I would add just one more thing on trade and tariffs to wrap it up. Look at the extensive work this president has put into cutting these good deals and doing what's right for the American.
She absolutely knows that she botched the Epstein questions. And so she is trying to fill the time with as much fluff as possible. Crazy.
Worker. He is literally looking at the map and looking at every country on the planet and seeing where they are ripping off the American people, seeing where they have hollowed out our industrial base, seeing where our jobs have gone to other countries overseas because of their tariff policies, and he's trying to correct that. So this is decades of bad trade policy that has led to a deficit that is ravaging our country, that is ravaging our middle class, and the president is taking a very deliberate approach to correcting this wrong of many decades, of many past presidents. And so I think he should be commended for the time and the effort that he is putting into this. And the fact that he has announced a framework with China, a trade deal with with the United Kingdom, a trade deal with Vietnam, and many others to come in just a matter of 6 months is truly historic, and it's a testament to this president and his trade team who are working around the clock to get this done.
All right.
Sure.
Honestly, you cannot lie. You fucking can't lie, bro. She's kind of spitting facts there. She really is.
Thank you so much, Caroline. Two questions on Iran. What's the permanent deal with Iran looks like for the president, and what issues related to Iran should it cover? And secondly, has the president seen the interview with Iranian president, which he says that the United States president, Mr. Trump, is capable enough to guide the regions toward a peace and a brighter future, and put Israel in its place, or it gets more into conflict? Has the president seen these comments, and what's his reaction to these comments?
I'm not sure if he's seen those comments, but certainly I think it's true that the president is the right man for the job to move the direction, this region into the direction of peace and stability for the future. That's what he and his national security team are working on every day, and we've already seen historic achievements in that direction.
All right.
Go ahead. In the back. Kelly, go ahead.
I feel like she's picking really specific reporters because if someone else brings up the Epstein files, she's gonna get absolutely cooked. Oh my god, it's so disappointing. Oh my lord, I'm a simple man and I want pedophiles to go to jail. Okay, listen, I'm a simple man. I don't care about your position of power, bro. I don't give a shit.
Great, sure. And then in front of you.
A couple questions for you. First,
y'all need name tag signs.
First question on the flooding in Texas.
Sure.
I know there has been some concern about the timing of the alerts, knowing that they did go out.
Bro! Oh my god! Stop trying to make it look like Trump is killing people with floods in Texas. There was no problem with the timings of the alert. The alert came out 12 hours before. The flood came so quickly, it took 30 minutes until shit was flooded.
But the warnings coming out in the wee hours, so while many people were likely sleeping. Can you share just details of what you know about why those warnings were sent while people were likely sleeping?
I'm sorry, bro. Those warnings wake people. Those warnings wake people up, okay? It's not like a little bing. It's not a little fucking bing. No, the phone goes blah. That shit wakes you immediately, all right? They were warned. Again, I'm not saying that they were able to get out on time, but the moment they knew, they warned them.
And then what the administration is doing to ensure that these alerts come out sooner.
Well, the alerts
came out as soon as they knew shit was happening. Literally, look, man, I've heard many alerts in my lifetime. Obviously, we all get Amber Alerts on our phones. All right, we all get Amber Alerts. We know how loud that shit is. That's one. And two, I've been in Israel during bombings, okay? When a missile is coming, your phone makes the alert sound, and that shit wakes you. Okay, I promise it wakes you up. I promise. Okay? Oh my god. Like, you can only do so much in the amount of heads up they actually had, but the alerts did happen.
Imminently were sent out before the flood when people were sleeping because the flood hit in the very early hours of the morning. So people were sleeping in the middle of the night when this flood came. That was
the moment they knew about it. They only learned about it at 4 a.m. So at 4 a.m., they gave them the alert. Like, dude, can you imagine? Can you imagine if they would have waited even an hour?
It's an act of God. It's not the administration's fault that the flood hit when it did. But there were early and consistent warnings. And again, the National Weather Service did its job. On July 2nd, there were initial notices of potential weather and flooding risks were issued. On July 3rd, escalating warnings throughout the day with a flood watch issued at 1:18 p.m. And then later at 6:10 p.m. on July 3rd, the Weather Prediction Center warned of excessive rainfall and a high likelihood of flash flooding. At 6:22 p.m. July 3rd, National Weather Center issued a hydraulic warning highlighting considerable flooding risks, including in Caryville County. And then there were the timely flash flood alerts at 11:41 p.m., 1:14 a.m., and then another flash flood emergency warning issued at 4:03 a.m. just before the flood hit. So those were all of the warnings that went out to the affected area and region. Go ahead.
One question on education funding
Go
for
ahead.
states and local
Appreciate it,
districts.
Caroline. Two questions for you related to the Prime Minister's visit today. Number one, there's a report circulating that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation provided a proposal to the White House to build
these so-called humanitarian transit areas inside and outside of Gaza. The GHF is insistent it has nothing to do with that proposal. Can you shed any light on whether the White House has received such a proposal, and if so, from whom?
I'm unaware if a proposal from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation was sent to the White House. I haven't seen it, but I can ask our National Security Council.
And also,
but you don't understand. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is, first of all, they work for Hamas, right? And second of all, you have to realize something, bro. Their deals are retarded, and Israel would never agree with their deals. So the issue here is like. It's like, okay, so what we want is more land and weapons and food and keep all the hostages, and you retreat and declare us as the rightful leaders. And Israel's like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And it's like, look at them. They're giving a peace proposal. Also, you have to pay us. All right, dude.
Document circulating that the White House is prepared to lift the Foreign Terrorist Organization designation from HTS, the group of President al-Shara in Syria. Can you confirm that that's taking place?
Again, I haven't.
Dude, that's actually really interesting. I wonder if they're going to do that.
Haven't heard that, or I'm not aware of that action taking place. As you know, we did lift particular sanctions on Syria, but we did leave them on for particular terrorist groups. If that has changed, we will, of course, let you know if there's a change in policy, but I'm unaware of one at this time. Sure, go ahead.
Me? Hi, Carolyn. Thank you.
And then you can go too, since you're so eager.
Ahead of the president's meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu today, is there a scenario where Israel has made it clear that they will not bring an end to this war until Hamas is decimated? And the president just 5 months ago suggested a potential takeover.
Understandable. Hamas started a war. They killed innocent people. It's an understandable stance.
Over of Gaza. Is there a situation where tonight the two men will change their posture, and in the scenario that Hamas turns over the remaining hostages, that the war could come to a permanent end, and that they will seek that under that scenario that they would essentially try to bring this war to a permanent end beyond just that 60-day ceasefire?
Again, that's your...
I mean, the issue here is, like, dude, this guy came up with his own idea for a ceasefire, which is very nice, but no one is mentioning that, all right? Hamas isn't willing to do that, and Israel is also not willing to do that. So it's really nice that this reporter came up with his idea for a ceasefire agreement, because he's a genius, and he understands the geopolitical situation way better than anyone else. Very smart of this guy. But yeah, bro, what are you fucking talking about? Israel doesn't want Hamas around because Hamas started 5 wars. They started 5 wars. By the way, it doesn't matter if there's a long-term ceasefire if Hamas is just going to start wars again and again and again. They don't want Hamas there at all. And on the contrary, Hamas is not willing to release all the hostages. They're not willing to give all the hostages back because they lose all their leverage. So, realistically, that's a terrible idea.
Putting a hypothetical situation in the air, so I don't want to comment on that. That's
not going to happen, bro.
Respect for these ongoing negotiations and discussions that are taking place. But as for...
Really nice that this reporter came up with a brilliant ceasefire agreement all by himself. He agrees with himself, too.
The takeover of Gaza, I don't believe the president ever said that. I think he discussed a rebuilding of Gaza once this war is over. This has become an uninhabitable place for human beings, and the president has a big heart. He wants this to be a prosperous, safe part of the region where people and families can thrive, and there will be a...
What a big heart on that man, that Mr. President. He has such a big heart. He's even... He's building Gaza. He's saving the world.
Need for a real rebuilding effort when the time comes, but right now we need to end this war and we need to bring all of the hostages home. The president is adamant about that.
The war tonight?
Look, again, I will let the president speak for himself later if he decides to comment on the details of the agreement, but out of respect for the discussions, I won't do that from the podium. Go ahead.
So Congressman Lawler and Gottheimer have introduced a bill in Congress, the Bunker Buster Act, that would allow the United States to sell B-2 bombers and bunker buster bombs to Israel.
Oh,
is that something the president would support?
Well, I
doubt it. I doubt it. I think Trump really likes the idea of being the only country on the planet with these bunker busters. I don't think they want to give this weaponry to anyone else. They're not doing it. I don't know if the
president's aware of the Bunker Buster Act, but I will ask him
and
see what his opinion on that
is. Ain't no way.
Not sure.
Right, thank you.
Exclusivity, baby. Sorry, bro.
Thank you, Caroline. Building off of the question earlier about the shooter in Texas who targeted ICE, Axios reported today, I believe, that Democrat lawmakers were saying their constituents are calling on them to be more violent when they go to ICE facilities.
I just showed that too.
including, I believe, they want them to shed blood, and that they said that Democrat lawmakers should be willing to get shot themselves. Can you respond to that? And do you have concerns that any of these lawmakers might act on the wishes of their constituents?
It's hard to believe anyone with morals in this country or decency would say such a thing. Obviously, the White House condemns that rhetoric, and we condemn violence of any kind. This administration is simply trying to enforce our laws, and we must be a nation of law and order. You cannot simply waltz across our border and live here illegally and expect to stay. We are going to enforce our nation's laws, and the men and women who are doing that are doing so in a respectful way. They are doing so within the confines of the law, and they are just trying to do their jobs. And we condemn any violence or any calls for violence of any kind against any American. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. I wanted to ask you if...
I was not calling on you, but you can go ahead. That's fine. There's a lot of people in here today.
President Trump already saw the letter that the Colombian President Gustavo Petro sent him, apologizing for his comments a few weeks ago, suggesting that there was an involvement from the U.S. government in an alleged coup d'etat in Colombia. And Secretary Rubio recalled the U.S. Chargé d'Affaires in Colombia. Did President Trump saw that letter, and what do you think about the comments from President Petro suggesting that the U.S. has some kind of involvement in a coup?
I'm not sure if the president has seen that letter, but I can check with him in the National Security Council. We will get you a response if you follow up with my team. We will find out for you. Sure, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline.
Iris, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Caroline. On two topics. First,
I love how excited everyone is on Monday. Yes, Raquel, you can.
Yeah, everyone wants to ask you about Epstein, bro. But you're not giving anything. You're not giving us anything. This is so frustrating and infuriating. It really is.
On two topics. First, tariffs. The president announced last night that any countries aligning themselves with the anti-American policies of BRICS will be charged.
Dude, the entire vibe in the room shifted. I don't know if you guys noticed or if it's just me, but the entire vibe in the room is different than it was in the beginning of this entire interview. Like the whole vibe is different. Like the awkward laughter, the awkward jokes. You know, she picks up, you guys need signs, and I wasn't talking to you. Like, everyone knows she lied to them for the first time in the administration. She lied maliciously, okay? You could say that she made mistakes in the past, all right? She absolutely did. Everyone makes mistakes, 100%. Okay, I just want to be clear. Everyone makes mistakes. So she definitely made mistakes in the past. But she lied. Everyone knows she lied. She knows she lied. And everyone's just like asking awkward questions to fill the time. Again, I'm not blaming her because I don't think she knows. I don't think she knows the truth. I don't. Whoever the higher-ups actually do know, I don't think she was told. She was just told that this is the official narrative and this is what she has to say. But I don't think she believes it. No one believes it. You know, she's being a good soldier out here, for sure. But, yeah, the whole vibe is different. It's like they're just kind of asking questions, but, you know, even the media's not trying to pressure her that much. It's like, it's crazy.
With an additional 10% tariff. Can you tell us more details on that? What specific policies is the president talking about here? What policies should countries stay away from to avoid being subject to additional tariffs?
Sure. Well, the president feels, generally speaking, that BRICS is seeking to undermine the interests of the United States. It's the president's utmost responsibility to put the interests of the United States first. That's how he views his job as president. So he's going to ensure that America is fairly treated on the world stage, and he'll take any action necessary to prevent countries from taking advantage of the United States and our people. Raquel, go ahead.
On illegal immigrants, Our Tom Homan told us this morning that ICE will have to arrest 7,000 illegal immigrants every day for the remainder of this administration to just catch the ones that were let in during the last administration. I'm wondering what the new resources and manpower, of course, given by the Big Beautiful Bill, which of course opens the door for ICE to hire additional 10,000 agents and officers.
Everyone's freaking out, losing their shit about this. Incredibly based. Yes, that's awesome. Hell yeah, dude.
What's the administration's expectations?
Dude, there are 20 million illegal immigrants in America. Get them the fuck out. They're illegal here. He ran to become president on getting rid of the illegal immigrants. Okay? And he's doing what he promised. Start in California.
Now for daily arrest numbers going forward in the upcoming months.
Sure. I'll let the Secretary of Homeland Security and her department speak on what they're looking for in terms of daily numbers. What I can tell you is I receive the daily reports each morning, and ICE is out there doing the jobs that they swore an oath to do, and they are removing public safety threats from our communities every day. And
bro, I want to live in a country that has more ICE agents than IRS agents. Okay, I'm a simple man.
Our country is becoming a safer place because of their efforts. And the One Big Beautiful Bill that is now law will give significant resources to ICE and Border Patrol to continue the tremendous work that they are already doing. And I think every American who wants to live in a safe neighborhood should be grateful for their efforts.
Thank you, Caroline.
Raquel, and then I can go to you.
So much.
All right.
And then you, Dr. Harper.
Thank you, Caroline. It's a follow-up on the BRICS question. So does President Trump believe that the BRICS are getting stronger or trying to isolate the United States? And how close is he monitoring this summit that is taking place in Brazil right now?
He's closely monitoring it, which is why he put out a statement himself. He does not perceive these countries as growing stronger. He just perceives them as trying to undermine the United States' interests, and that's not okay with him, no matter how strong or weak the country may be.
Incredibly based. You do not fuck with the United States, all right? Or you get midnight hammered.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
As promised, yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Does Trump have a vision for post-war Gaza? You mentioned, talking about now the ceasefire, but does he support permanent or temporary Israeli presence in the Gaza Strip? Does he continue to see a continued role for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation to continue to operate in the Gaza Strip?
Well, as you know, because we've talked about it before, the
president
has directed aid to be moved into the region, and that has been taking place. You've actually seen people in the Gaza Strip.
Yeah, 100 million meals were given to Gazans under Trump's new thing.
Yelling out, "Thank you, Trump," for the aid and for the meals that they have received, because the previous administration never did that for some reason. But this president, again, wants to see peace and stability in the region. So as I outlined previously, he views this part of the region as having a real chance at being peaceful and prosperous. But again, we need to end this war. We need to get all the hostages home, and Hamas needs to accept this proposal in order to do that. Dr. Harper, go ahead.
I'm Dr. Anthony Harper with the Intermountain Christian University. Thank you for taking my questions. Given the nature of the Palestinian Authority, with their pay to slay, teaching Jew hatred to children, corrupt leaders, and no elections for 19 years.
True. For those of you that are unaware of the history, Israel had control of Gaza from 1967 until 2004. They then gave Gaza to the Palestinians in 2004 as like a peace deal, and the Palestinians elected Hamas in 2005, who then became, they then became, whatever, a radical terrorist organization that never hosted another election. Let's just say 20 more years passed, they've never hosted another election. All right, listen, it's pretty crazy.
Who does President Trump support to govern Area A and Area B to prevent Hamas from ruling? And what is President Trump's position on Israeli sovereignty?
Sure. Well, the president believes Israel, of course, has a right to defend itself. As for the first part of your question, you're getting ahead, Dr. Harper. As I told you, the president wants Hamas to accept this proposal right now. He wants to see peace in this region, and he's committed to doing that. Sean.
Hey, Caroline, can you just please walk us through the decision to halt the supply of weapons to Ukraine at a time when Russia is really hitting Ukrainian cities and civilians? Was that the president who decided that, or did the Pentagon do it without his approval?
No, neither of those things are true. I'm happy to walk you through it. This was a standard review by the Pentagon of all weapons and all aid and all support that the United States is providing all countries and all regions around the world, not just Ukraine. When the Secretary of Defense took office, he directed the Pentagon to conduct this review to ensure that everything that's going out the door aligns with America's interests. So it's a pause to review to ensure that everything the Pentagon is pushing out there is in the best interest of our military and our men and women in uniform. Fran.
Two questions on Israel. You suggested that Hamas is the impediment currently to a ceasefire. So if not a
What even is this framing, bro? What are we framing here?
ceasefire deal, then what does the
Yes, the terrorists that started the war still have hostages and are still not releasing them and aren't even accepting ceasefires. Yes, they are the impediment. Yeah.
president hope to achieve with tonight's dinner with the prime minister?
Again, you guys are getting
Bro, what are we talking about? The dinner happens in like an hour from now, okay? Based on this time. Like, bro, why are you asking these questions?
A lot of hypotheticals. I don't want to get ahead of the president, but there are many other issues to discuss with Prime Minister Netanyahu tonight related to the region and just the entire world. So this will be a dinner to talk about Operation Midnight Hammer, which was incredibly successful, to talk about peace in Gaza and ending that conflict, as well as many other topics of discussion in relation to Israel and the United States. Sure, go ahead.
You could tell how uncomfortable she is. It's insane. She's so uncomfortable. Like, ever since the Epstein question, like, normally she's on fire with her answers, but like, listen to the way she says it here.
Discussion in relation to Israel and the United States.
Sure,
go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. Given the fact that this is on the trade letters, given the fact that the president put into effect the tariffs on April 2nd and then put the pause into place, is the president at all concerned that these countries that are receiving the letters won't take them seriously because the deadline seems to have shifted already and may shift again?
They will take the letters seriously because they have taken the president seriously, and that's why the president's phone, I can tell you, rings off the hook from world leaders all the time who are begging him to come to a deal. And this administration is working hard to ensure those deals are in the best interest of the American people. And this delay, again, is in the best interest of the American people. And you all will continue to see these letters released on the president's Truth Social, and we will see you all later. Thank you.
Wow, that was it. That was literally it. Damn, I feel like the whole second half of that interview was like an actual fluffer interview. Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. I'll mention it. This is on the Washington Free Beacon, okay? Hamas has been placing bounties on American aid workers, and they demand the UNRWA, right? This is the UN's food shit, to return under any ceasefire deal. They refuse to accept food from America because they prefer to actually get food from they prefer to get food from the UN because the UN gives food directly to Hamas, and then Hamas starves their own people. Whereas the American Foundation that's been giving food to Palestinians has been making sure that it gets to the civilians in Gaza and not Hamas. So one of their big things that they want in the ceasefire is actually UN provided food instead of American food, to the point that they're putting bounties on American aid workers. Yeah, so obviously this shit is disgusting. But someone just linked me this video. Apparently this is crazy. I actually read the Big Beautiful Bill, and everything the left claimed was a lie. I mentioned this earlier, and people in my chat were losing their shit. They were going wild. They were talking about how, oh my God, Nux, I can't believe you say that the Big Beautiful Bill is mostly good. Even Elon says that the Big Beautiful Bill is bad. All right, let's go. This will be short. We'll wrap up the video on this. A little bit of Nux justification.
Okay, the Republican Senate just passed one of the worst bills in American history. You should watch this video because it'll impact the rest of your life.
Oh boy, you've all seen Dean's video on the Big Beautiful Bill. And notice how he didn't provide a single source or cite the bill even once. I'm now going to systematically eviscerate everything he said. Make sure to send this to a low-information liberal friend who believed it. Let's get into it.
This bill intends to revoke the Pell Grant for around 2/3 of recipients.
No, the bill does not revoke the Pell Grant for 2/3 of recipients. Instead, what it does is cut waste and tighten guidelines. First of all, this bill takes the Pell Grant away from students who have enough outside non-federal grants or scholarships to cover the full cost of their attendance. If their college is already fully paid for, why would you give them the Pell Grant? That's just free money for no real reason. It disqualifies people who are less than half-time students, which would mean that you're taking less than 6 credits per semester. And finally, it removes students whose student aid index is more than double the maximum Pell award. The House version also included a measure to increase the full-time student requirement from 24 credits per year to 30 credits per year, but it was removed in the Senate bill. The House bill ultimately expected to disqualify only 10% of Pell recipients, according to the Congressional Budget Office. A little over half were expected to see reductions in the size of their awards based on the level of aid that they were otherwise receiving. The Senate bill is much more mild and expected to see an even smaller impact. Now, Dean's talking point comes from an American Progress article, which unfortunately he didn't read past the headline.
Diabolical! uncle! He killed him.
He evidently also didn't read the bill that he made this video about.
It also plans to completely eliminate student aid for graduate students.
So this is
oh my god, dude. I've never seen this video. I've never seen this video that he's debunking here, but oh my lord.
Just a complete lie. What this bill actually does is cap borrowing for graduate students at $20,500 per year and $100,000 per lifetime. For professional programs like law and medicine, it caps the borrowing at $50,000 annually and $200,000 for.
I think schooling needs to be divided into two camps. All right, in my opinion. All right, there needs to be school that's considered useful for getting a career, and then there's the other half of school, which is education for education's sake, and it's a scam. All right, in my opinion, we need to divide the schooling system into these two parts. That's my opinion.
Life. Graduate students are also still fully eligible for grants from the federal government, as well as grants from federal agencies like the NIH.
Defunding hospitals in rural areas in the.
Defunding hospitals? Oh my god, is this really what the left believes? Is that why they're all crashing out about the bill? Because they're just like, oh my god, Trump is defunding the hospitals.
Country. Because of this, 340 hospitals in these rural areas are expected to be at a risk of closure.
Another blatant lie. There is no provision in this bill that defunds rural hospitals. Some are concerned that tightening Medicaid will result in reduced revenue for rural hospitals, but this bill focuses specifically on things like ensuring that deceased people are scrubbed from Medicaid,
Based! Why the fuck should Medicaid be sending money to dead people?
Evaluating recipients' eligibility yearly. Why weren't we always doing that?
Correct.
Preventing Medicaid from being used to pay for child transition surgery.
Based! I don't want my taxes cutting children's penises off, bro!
It prevents federal dollars from being spent on abortion and gives the states more.
Based! Dude, these are amazing things! Why should my tax dollars be going to pay for shit like this? For real! This is amazing, man.
More control over how Medicaid is run in their states, taking that power from the federal government. I'll do a whole video on how this bill relates to healthcare because it's very nitty-gritty, but this was an outright lie.
It's also expected to cut food benefits by 30%.
No, the bill does not cut food benefits by 30%. Dean is talking about SNAP. Actually, I don't think he knows what he's talking about, but anyway, the current requirement for SNAP is that people aged 16 to 56 work 20 hours a week or 80 hours a month to receive benefits. This was just expanded to people aged 64. It also requires that states share in the cost of SNAP benefits with the federal government. So there you have it, and all of Dean's primary concerns with the big beautiful bill in the video that he purportedly put loads of time and effort into, which is
currently working on a video going over the big beautiful bill. This is a piece of legislation passed by the Senate this morning. It's one of the worst bills in American history. Classic. When do I post it?
Shocking, considering he failed to provide a single source or cite the bill even once, are all either lies or half-truths with justified measures behind them. Send this to an overreactive liberal who bought into these lies, and make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and
yeah, that was a really good video. This was Cam Higbee. Yeah, he actually read the big beautiful bill. Yeah, because a lot of people have been calling me out, but I do believe that largely the complaints that people make about the big beautiful bill are just from brainwashed people that don't actually know what they're talking about. It really, like, every time someone complains about the big beautiful bill, I say, okay, what about the big beautiful bill do you not like? And the answer is always, literally hospitals are going out of business. And no more Medicaid? And it's like, oh my fucking god, you retard. Anyway, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed. This was a good video. Yeah, nah, super disappointed about the Epstein shit. I really am. I am. This is one of those moments in society where you have to recognize that you were lied to. You will never know the truth. Don't believe all the conspiracy theories because most of them are probably wrong. This probably goes way deeper than even the conspiracy theorists feel like saying. No one knows. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, don't fuck children on an island unless you're a billionaire. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.